Dillian, the body snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
So former unified champion Wladimir Klitschko has been talking about his decision to retire and not take the Anthony Joshua rematch and how close he was to accepting the rematch until last second he decided not to. And he was having a discussion with the IB Times, and this is what Wladimir Klitschko had to say. It's quite lengthy, so bear with me and we'll have a quick chat about it after. It was the most difficult decision, but I'm so happy. You couldn't know about it before whether or not you'll be happy with your decision. You know about it later on when your decision is made, a couple of months after, whether it was right or wrong. As of right now, I would say it was a right decision. I did maybe an illogical thing, but I stepped out on my terms, not anybody else's, but my terms. I think my stock went up, not down, and I was surprised that was possible when I lost to Anthony Joshua. The Joshua and Klitschko were involved in one of the most exciting heavyweight fights in the past 25 years, where both fighters were knocked down before Joshua went on to get the stoppage in the 11th round in front of 90,000 fans at Wembley in London. I wish for him to win in any other fight that comes up, because the more he wins, the more I shine. Because if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose to the best man. I just want to be proud of that. He is carrying the flag accordingly. If I were able to rewind time back and have influence over the decision, for example, if I knocked him out in the 6th round and won the titles back, it would have been nice for my ego. And believe me, my ego is big. It would be nice, but truth is, I wouldn't change it. I am where I am right now, and I have experienced what I've experienced because I've had a lot of success. And just to know this other side where I can win by losing, I will pay any price for that. I think Joshua was born that night. He recouped, he recovered, and he fought back. He was really challenged. That was his birth. There is always a circle of life. I have seen it with family members passing away and family members being born, so I understand there is a circle of life. You have to accept it. You have to support if it is right. This is what I'm doing. So that was his statement. So really what he's saying is then, it was disappointing to lose, but he went out the right way, and if he could change it all again so he won the belts, he wouldn't do it. He said that he went out as a winner. He went out as a warrior should go out. He gave everything that he had, and he got everything that he could handle in that one fight. A fight like that could never be topped. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying when they were talking about having a rematch a couple of months back there. And I was saying that it could be bad for Wladimir Klitschko's career if he was to go in there, because people will always remember the last fight. I mean, of course, people will remember his career fondly regardless, but people will always remember his last fight and how he went out, and he went out like a true warrior. So had he have took the rematch, and if he'd have got flattened in 1 or 2 rounds, then that's how people will remember him. So he went out on the right way, on his right terms, and although he says that he wouldn't change it all, well, I have no reason to believe why not. He's always been a warrior and always about the good of the sport, and he did exactly what he did. He gave everything that night. He got dropped in the 5th, he dropped Joshua in the 6th, and he got dropped twice in the 11th before ultimately getting stopped on the ropes in the 11th. There are things to be raised about if he'd have put his foot on the gas at round 6 after he dropped him, and for the next couple of rounds, would Joshua have survived? And would we be looking at potentially right now Klitschko versus Wilder, or Klitschko versus Parker, or whatever else it may be? So it's interesting, but he's right. He went out on the right terms. He literally passed the torch, if you like, and Anthony Joshua's holding that torch right now. What he does from now on in will kind of reflect on him. I mean, I understand what he means, because me being a football fan as well, obviously Newcastle United for my sins, usually my team gets knocked out in one of the cups quite early on, and if it's a big team like Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham or whatever, I always want that team who beat Newcastle to win the cup So Newcastle lost to the team who won the cup, if that makes sense. So I'm guessing that's pretty much what he's saying, that if Joshua can go on and become undisputed champion, then he went out in one hell of a fight against the man in the division. Of course, AJ is still a prospect right now. He's 20 fights, but he is a unified champion, way ahead of schedule. He should really be fighting for the British title, looking at the European title, but he is overachieved, if you like, so early on. And what the future holds for him, we don't know. We just hope that everything is going to be okay, that we have the new Lennox Lewis on our hands. If not, then maybe Tyson Fury could be, or whatever it may be. But hopefully by the end of 2018, and as Joshua has said himself, he would like to be undisputed champion before the end of 2018. That's a very, very hard task. Obviously, he's got a very dangerous Deontay Wilder and a very dangerous Joseph Parker to get through as well. So if he's going to do it, he's going to do it the hard way by taking on both of them guys. I don't see any kind of situation where Parker and Wilder are going to fight each other. I don't think either of them can afford the other one's purse. So they're going to be waiting for AJ to afford it for them. So if Joshua does become undisputed champion, then he's done it the hard way, where he's collected one belt at a time. Whereas, for an example, it could be that Joshua faces Parker next, and if he was managing to beat Parker, he would then have 3 of the main belts plus the IBO. Then summertime or end of the year, whenever it may be, he fights Wilder. And if Wilder was to win, then Wilder won one fight to become undisputed. But if Joshua was to beat Wilder as well, then he's got all the belts, one after the other. He's done it the hardest way possible, and nobody could ever discredit that. And I think that's kind of what Wladimir Klitschko is hoping for, that Joshua does go on to become undisputed. So every time he wins, it makes his fight with Joshua that little bit better. But of course, he's going to be watching Joshua and hoping that he cleans out his opposition faster and more effective than what he did against Wladimir Klitschko himself. So anyway, that was Wladimir Klitschko's statement. And he's saying that Anthony Joshua is flying the flag accordingly. And if he could turn the clock back to get the victory himself, he wouldn't do it. He's quite happy to go out which way he has. And it's a shame that other boxers, if you like, don't do the same. Like the likes of Roy Jones Jr. went on for too long. I think Bernard Hopkins went on for too long as well. And a few others, of course. So he went out the right way. That's just my opinion, of course. A lot of people say he took a dive. He took the foot off the gas. It wasn't in the script. Please, come on. Let's be serious. So, great fight. Went out the right way. And Wladimir Klitschko is a true fighting warrior who did things his way and went out on his terms. So as of right now, he has no regrets. I'm sure somewhere deep within him, he still has an itch to do at least one more fight. But as time goes on, that'll probably get stronger, like it does with Lennox Lewis. But he, like Lennox Lewis says, you know, he has a dream almost every night about coming back, and then spends the rest of the day talking himself out of it. So let's see what happens in time. Anyway, drop yourself a comment below. Click that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Catch you on the next one.